She's got 4 Emmys in reshaped morning television, but did you know Kathie Lee Gifford once sat at Jimmy Kimmel's side for the first week of his late night show? So what went wrong? She tells me on this Arroyo Grande. Come on. I'm Raymond Arroyo. Welcome to Arroyo Grande. Go subscribe to the show right now. Turn those notifications on. I don't want you missing anything. And if you'd like to support our work, RaymondArroyo.com is the website. She's a 4-time Emmy Award winner. For 25 years, she dominated morning TV with her pals Regis, Philbin, and later Hoda Kotb. She's a playwright, a producer, singer, songwriter, and actress. I joined her at her home in Nashville, and we got into everything from how she and Regis Philbin changed TV to what really happened with Jimmy Kimmel. And did you know Kathie Lee once co-hosted his late night show when it launched? You were part of not only great morning TV, you were on all those great late night shows as well. It was a very different vibe.
It was dynamic. It was exciting.
What happened?
They got all full of themselves. And I remember, and I liked Jimmy Kimmel as a person. When Jimmy got his late night show, he called me and he goes, "Kathie, I don't know what I'm doing. Will you come in the first week and help me? Will you co-host with me the first week?" And I said, "Sure." I got off and I went out to L.A. and I was with Jimmy that very first week of him trying to,
find his way.
Yeah, you know what? We all learn to swim in new waters. You got to learn to do that.
Yeah.
Every show is different, and especially if you go from a huge leap from, what he did, the Man Show kind of thing,
yeah,
and then he went to that, and I knew it helped him, and he was grateful. And then all of a sudden I'd see clips or something of this person that I used to enjoy being with and enjoyed making television with, and I go, I don't even recognize him anymore. I don't recognize him. I love Jimmy Fallon. What a talented guy he is. They all got scared
of
being canceled. I never cared. They tried to cancel me my entire career.
Yeah.
I said, fine. I don't work for you. I work for a higher power.
And you're true to that gift.
I'm true to you go ahead and cancel me. I don't care. I will find something else to do where I can be me. But you're not going to, God doesn't cancel people. God embraces people. Jesus never canceled anybody. He walked with them. He talked with them. He ate with them and loved them and showed them the way to a life of joy and a life of service and a life of purpose.
Yeah.
The exact opposite of cancer.
You see,
cancel. It's cancer culture.
Yeah,
that
cancer
just came
culture.
out. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way, but
yeah.
And I wish everybody well, but don't you mess with my authenticity. That comes straight from the Lord God.
You know what I love? I went back and watched you and Regis this week. Those openings, they were never. You know what struck me most? They were never mean.
Never.
You didn't trash somebody and say, "Look at Madonna, what a tramp!" You never did that.
No, never. And we never did it. We teased each other.
You tease each other and talk about your own foibles and your own.
But never.
Or meeting someone on the street, but it was never cruel.
It was never mean.
Right.
And that's what happens when you lose. That's what's happened when you lose God in your life. You get mean because you get angry. You get angry.
You said something recently that, particularly with what's happening in the world, what's happening in the country, just drew my attention again. And you said, this was during an interview, when I was growing up, what was rare was cruelty. Now what's rare are stories about kindness.
Kindness.
What has shifted and how do we get it back?
Well, I think the minute we just leave God out of any equation, it's at our own risk and peril. God doesn't want to hurt us. But when we move away from him and we leave him out of our decision-making process, when we leave him out of our day-by-day behavior, then we pay a price for it. He gave us I don't even like to call them the 10 Commandments. He gave us their blessings. They're really blessings. The 10 blessings. If you do this, this is what I will bless you. If you do this, and even love your mother and your father, that you may live long in the land. I mean, they're promises from God, and we have degraded the value of it in our culture. And I don't think that we are a Christian country anymore.
Really?
No, we were founded on Judeo-Christian principles, but one of the greatest aspects of our country is that we allow other people to live with us too. That's what Jesus did. Jesus embraced. Jesus embraced now, and that's what Charlie Kirk was doing, trying to embrace people. And they say, please come, come, join us, dine with me, break bread with me, and then because our common ground then is our sacred ground. And there's so many people in this world that really do think very much like we do.
But do you think we've reached a tipping point where cruel speech, viciousness, meanness, that's so poisoned not only the conversation we're hearing, we're seeing every day of our lives,
right,
but the behavior around us?
No, I know, but that's because they hate God. They hate God. How do you hate something you don't even believe? And that's interesting to me. Why do you hate him if you don't think he even exists? Yeah. People are desperate for love. They're desperate for tenderness. They're desperate for kindness. And they lash out because they're so broken. They do. They lash out of their brokenness. And Jesus understood that so well. So well. And he the only time he ever got angry in all of Scripture that we know is when he got the whip and he knocked over not the money changers, knocked over the table, which represented where God's people ate with their Creator. And he said, no, you have made my Father's house a house, of thieves, of money. Right. And they got angry at that. That's when the Pharisees and the Sadducees turned against Jesus, because they went, he's changing everything. The people are following him. The people are not going to tithe. The people are not going to follow us. The people are not going to. Jesus said, God doesn't want your money. He wants you to love him. He wants you to know him.
You said something about cancel culture the other day. You said it's a cancer. A cancer.
It is.
This idea of negating people that you might disagree with. But this has become really, and this is not confined to any one ideology or one side of the political ledger.
Right.
I now see it everywhere.
Right.
It's really destructive.
It truly,
to the soul of a country.
To the soul of the people in the country. That's exactly right. Yeah, I totally believe that. And I don't want any part of it. I don't want to be a part of it at all.
But how do you stay, and this is the real key question, how do you hold people to account, but do so with grace and mercy, which seems to be dead in our culture? Grace and mercy has been driven out of the culture, but writ large.
It seems like it, but it hasn't been. I saw on the news yesterday, people all over the world saying things on their body or on their whatever, said, I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. And if this young man, truly beautiful young man, I never met him. I wish I had. We never crossed paths. But I was always impressed by him when I would see him on television. I would think, what a thoughtful man. I dropped out of college too because I wasn't learning anything that was going to get me where I knew what I wanted to do when I was a child as well. He knew. Yeah. He had the calling of God on his life even then. So it exists all over the world, but it doesn't get the kind of attention that the screaming crowds get. And that's one of the reasons I moved out of New York. I couldn't take that culture any longer. I couldn't take the culture of chaos. I said, I've been working down here on a movie that I did, co-writing the music for the soundtrack. And I just thought, why am I so happy here? It's because there's a culture of kindness here. That doesn't mean everybody here is kind, but the culture is based on
Civility,
generosity, and
hospitality.
Hospitality is huge in Middle Eastern religions. Yes, it is. The Muslims, the everybody is here. Please come, sit, eat. Yeah. We don't have that anymore. It's the South. It's here.
It's still here.
Yeah.
And certainly in Nashville, the dogma lives loudly in the people of Nashville.
Yes, it does.
Hospitality and kindness and welcome. I want to talk about, you mentioned a moment ago that you felt that calling on your life at a young age.
Oh,
what was that calling?
To use whatever gift that I've been given from God for His glory, not mine.
Huh.
Knew it from, I came out of my mother's womb with a pratfall and a boom and a boom
and a song.
With a song in my heart.
I adore you. Okay.
Yes.
We don't want to pay the royalties, so we're going to stop
No, we got to stop there.
Yeah.
No, I knew I was supposed to, I'm a storyteller. I'm supposed to tell the world in story, in music, in everything else that God loves them.
And what did your parents think when you said, this is what I'm going to do? You went out to L.A., right?
I went out to L.A. first, yeah.
And
started getting in line with everybody else to get jobs. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. Mm-hmm. But Billy Graham, years ago, when I was in my early 20s, had a huge impact on my life. When he said to me, and I had come to know the Lord through his movie, The Restless Ones. My mother and my sister, had come to know the Lord through watching him on television. Uh-huh. And my whole family basically came to know faith through
Billy Graham.
Through Billy. Mm-hmm. And so I was just, when I got a chance to meet him when I was in my early 20s, he took me aside and he said, Kathie, I know this about you. And the way he'd talk was so sweet and gentle. And he said, you're going to have a huge career in the entertainment industry. You're going to have a huge, huge future in the in that world. Yeah. And you're going to get a lot of flack for it. You're going to get, but here, if you want any advice from me, I said, are you kidding? Advice from Billy Graham? Please, please. He said, just don't make the one mistake I made, which is, I don't know, he made any mistakes.
Yeah.
He said, don't get involved with politics. You lose half your audience the minute you choose a side. He said, don't do it, Kathie. I was sorry when I did it. I was told to preach the gospel. You have to teach that what your understanding of the gospel is that God loves you just the way you are. It was very similar to, remember the song, Just As I Am, Without One Plea, right? Come to me, just as you are. And he said, just fight it. You will be tempted. Mm-hmm. You will be tempted, and people will try to buy you off, and people will try to get you in line, and don't do it. Stay true to the calling of God on your life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Charlie was doing too.
Something I did not know about you until this week when I did my research. You were Hee Haw Honey.
No, I did Name That Tune first, then I did Hee Haw Honeys.
Oh my God!
The next year.
Tell people about that. What was that? What was that like?
Fun.
I mean, it was a Hee Haw spinoff, right?
It was a Hee Haw spinoff. Yes, it was a Hee Haw spinoff, and I did Name That Tune, and everybody knew me as the La La lady, mm-hmm. and it changed my whole life. And I started opening for Bob Hope, Bill Cosby, everybody. I was the go-to girl if you wanted to get people happy at your show, and and all of that before you go on, because I didn't have to sell the tickets. The headliners had to sell the tickets, and I liked not being a headliner. I never wanted to be a star. Mm-hmm. Ever. I just wanted to, my dad said, find something you love to do and then figure out a way to get paid for it. That's where you'll be happy, Kathie. He was right. But I never dreamed that I'd have the success that I ultimately got. So the year later, I was 3 young ladies, like we were going to be the Charlie's Angels of country music, and the producers, it was the producers of Hee Haw were doing a spinoff, and they wanted us to be like this trio of girls that go down to make it in country music. Well, the other 2 ladies were lovely, but they were let go. And there I was standing there going, what are you going to do with me?
You're the star.
No, they didn't. They said, we'll change the show up. And we'll get Misty Rowe, we'll get Kenny, Gaylord Sartain, we'll get all these other characters that were already established. Yeah. And we'll call it Hee Haw Honeys differently, though. But it'll be a family instead of three girls trying to get... Wow. Yeah. And I made friends with Dolly then. I made friends with the Gatlin brothers. I made friends with Barbara Mandrell. Who else? I mean,
hey, when I read that,
Kenny
I thought,
Rogers.
This was the Nashville connection before there was a Nashville connection.
That's right. I came and spent a year here doing the
Oh, you shot it here?
We shot it here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. I figured you shot it in L.A.
Productions. They were Canadian. The guys that produced Hee Haw.
So that was kind of a harbinger of things to come. God,
who knew?
Introducing you to the concept.
I gained 20 pounds here with the food. Oh my gosh! It's
Those biscuits are good.
No, everything was gravy.
Yeah.
You know, everything's gravy, and I've never been a big eater, but that year
You learned.
I kind of was.
You learned. Tell me how did you meet Regis? How did this happen? He was already doing the show in L.A., right?
Oh yeah,
a morning show for years.
For years.
And then they move him to New York.
Well, he got an offer. I think I don't remember who he got the offer from, but you know, knowing Regis, it was about money, and he was ready to go the next step. Yeah. They went to do a national show, and it didn't go well.
Why?
I think it was the wrong chemistry between the two of them, and Regis was used to being, you know, king of the road. He was king of the one. He was the king in L.A. And when I lived there, I watched him every morning. Everybody did, and I just thought he was just adorable. He was so freaking funny, and every time I turned on the TV, he was doing something stupid or something outrageous or something. And I thought this man is so much like I am. He just trusts his instincts.
His gut.
He trusts his gut as a performer. And he wasn't a performer. I already was, long since a performer. But he adored people like Dean Martin, adored Perry Como,
He loved talent.
He loved talent. He loved music. He was, you know, Frank used to say to me, he said, Regis isn't a bad singer. He just can't finish a song.
That's a great way to put it.
Hit the big note at the end.
He can't quite get there.
And Frank was one to talk. Frank was a terrible singer, but
he never tried.
He could whistle perfectly. I'd whistle perfectly, but he could never stay in. Oh, it's just funny stories about the two of them, just amazing. But anyway, yeah, when I moved to New York for 1 year for Good Morning America.
That's right. You
1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want it. I said, I'm not a journalist. Why are they calling me? They said, we don't want a journalist. We want somebody that's great with an audience, that's great with people, that is you know, a real person, and we'll teach you the things you need to, because you're smart, you'll learn them. Mm-hmm. And so I moved. I said, I'll give you 1 year. I was going through a divorce at the time, and I was ready to. So I'll say, I'm going to get out of town while this thing works out. And then I'll come back and continue the work that I've been doing in L.A. And
you didn't like the Good Morning America gig?
No. I like the people there. Yeah. You know, I always find good people wherever I go, but I wasn't enough.
Wasn't a good fit. It just wasn't. It was a news program.
It was under entertainment back then. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I started doing commercials. The way I met Frank was because I was doing a dog food commercial for Alpo, 4 o'clock in the morning, got my hair and makeup, and I'm walking down and I see an amazing set of buns leaning over it, putting in contact lenses. Now, I had just had something called radial keratotomy, which was a precursor to LASIK. And that's when they did it with a razor blade.
Oh, yeah, cut the... Sorry.
Anyway, but it worked for me, and I had perfect vision. Huh. And I said, boy, have I got an operation for you. And he didn't turn or anything. He goes, yeah, with a fool on either end. I went, oh, charming. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can see, and apparently you can't. So there's something. One of us is right.
That's how you met.
That was Frank, and I should have recognized his voice because my daddy and my brother and everybody, they always watched Monday Night Football. That's what Frank was really best known for at that time.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that's how I met Frank, and I was going to stay for a year, and that was it. And I I just stayed. I mean, and then I fell in love with Frank, and then we were friends for 4 years before we ever fell in love. 4 years. He told me was in love with me, but he said she'll never love me. I'm too old for her. 23 years to the day older, because and I never even considered it because I was getting a divorce. It was a bad situation in my life at that time. There was a man. I was in a loveless, sexless marriage from the moment I married the man, and it was horrible for almost 7 years. And I wasn't the one that was going to leave, because in my family you didn't leave a marriage. But he brought charges against me, and I said the kindest thing he ever did was divorce me. He gave me the freedom to find a real love in my life, which was Frank.
Yeah. And then where did Regis enter the picture?
Oh, Regis, my stinky Regis. I mean, he wasn't stinky at all, but he was a stink pot.
Yes, he was.
He knew how to
stir up the bonnet.
Stir it up, baby. One day, I was walking up West End Avenue, on the west side in New York, and it was really weird because usually there's a lot of people. I see him walking towards me. He could see me walking, and we just said hi, and we said a quick hello. He sort of recognized me, and I definitely recognized him. And right after that, I heard that the Ann Abernathy, the woman who was his co-host at the time, was leaving to marry some guy and live in Virginia. Oh. And I called my agents, and I said, I want to be seen for that job. They go, why? It's a local show. It's called The Morning Show. And I said, because he's so funny. He's so brilliant. He doesn't have to use cards. He's like me. We would have so much fun together. And all I was doing was reading a teleprompter at Good Morning America. And that's not me.
Being used,
I just felt, I don't want to do this. And I appreciated they taught me a lot. I'd never done stand-ups and all. And you learn to do all that stuff.
And the timing of television.
Yeah, well, I knew the timing of television a lot. I've been on TV a lot, but not on that thing down to the the minute.
Yeah,
down
and
to the
live
minute.
television.
A lot of it, and also I didn't want to say other people's words. They didn't sound like me in my mouth, And so. Anyway, I called my agent and he said, Kathie, it's a local show. I said, I'm aware of that, but he's having fun. I'm not having any fun. He said, well, they're training you to take Joan London's place. They want you to be the next co-host of Good Morning America. I said, I don't want it.
Wow.
I didn't want it. I said, this is not me.
It was a bad fit.
It was a bad fit. So he said, okay, got me an audition. And after, I think, two times with Regis, they said, there's nobody, you're meant for this. And so that started 15 years with him, and we changed the entire landscape of daytime television. We didn't even know we were doing it.
But tell me what the secret was. First of all, tell
me
me about...
Three-letter word.
F-U-N.
Yes.
The only F word you can say on this show.
I can say fart.
All right, U.S.
That's okay. 4 letters.
All right, that's right. That's right. Which is better than the alternative. But what was it about? I mean, I'm a big believer in chemistry. It's either there or will never be there.
You can't mix it up in a petri dish. No. You just can't. It doesn't work that way.
They try every day. You see people who hate each other on TV. You can feel it. I can feel it.
I can feel it too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
But what worked between you and Regis? That first time?
Well, there's 2 things. It was, first of all, neither one of us thought of ourselves as journalists. We weren't trying to impress people with our journalistic and whatever. Yeah. No. All that, and I would call it pseudo-intellectualism. We didn't do that. Yeah. We just had fun. We found the silly in each other. We also respected each other so much. I had been a performer since I was 10 years old, getting paid for it. He had been on radio first, and he was a performer, and he was
with Joey Bishop.
All of that.
Joey Bishop's
He
sidekick.
earned his stripes. I had too, and we were. So it was a combination of, and we both felt like finally we got our foil. We got the guy. This is the guy I want to play ping pong with, and that's what happened.
And you'd go out. He'd come, I know, with a pile of something from the New York Post, usually. Yeah. He'd have the newspapers in his hand.
Right.
You all would basically riff on what was happening.
Yep.
No script.
Never, never. We didn't have any writers.
No teleprompter at all?
Sometimes
to get
if we
in and
need-
out of a segment, but that's it.
Yes, no teleprompter at all. And we'd say, 23 minutes out of the first half hour. We never went to commercial until 23 minutes were up. And
you wouldn't prep at all? You wouldn't in the dressing room say, hey, we're going to hit
we
this,
never
this,
saw
this?
each other before.
Oh, you didn't
On purpose.
see him.
On purpose. We got hair and makeup separately and didn't even say good morning until we walked out. Now, da, 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 da. I can remember the music.
Yeah.
And that's when I'd be getting our chair and we'd...
To keep it fresh.
Keep
it
it
was
fresh.
real. It was authentic.
Totally authentic. That's the key to... For me, it's been the key to everything.
Do you feel that's gone today?
No, I'm still around.
I'm not talking about you. I mean, when you look at other people that are now filling the airwaves, do you feel a bit of that authenticity has been leached away?
I think in the news world, definitely.
Gone. Yeah,
that's gone, and they deserve it, and nobody watches, and their ratings are totally gone because they deserve the fact that nobody respects them anymore. They had a privilege of being journalists, privilege of bringing the news, and that everybody got political, everybody got, into all of that, and because thank you, Billy Graham never did. And I think there are a lot of people, a lot of very, very real people in podcasting now. And but more and more people want what other people have, but don't want to work for it. We live in an entitled society where somebody wants what you've got. They want what I've got, and they've never put in the work. I don't respect that.
No. Regis, Philbin, and you, what was the best and the worst part of doing that show for all those years?
Gosh, there was no worst part.
Really?
No. I had to get up very, very early because I commuted it. Regis lived across the street, of course, in a penthouse. And he'd walk across the street and drive people crazy all the way in. I came in all the way from Greenwich, Connecticut, because I wanted to raise my kids there. I didn't want to raise them in New York.
No, wise move.
Yeah. And I think so. In fact, I know so. Nothing, a lot of great kids come out of New York, but I was never a New Yorker. I was grateful for New York. Frank was grateful for New York. I mean, both of us had amazing careers because New York was good to us.
Right.
But no, I knew how I wanted to raise my babies. And so the only hard part was the commute, and
And the best part?
Oh, just being with him every day. I'd wake up every morning and be excited. I'm going to see Regis. We're going to have fun. What are we going to talk about today? We don't know. We don't know. And it's going to be fun to find out. And we never, ever planned it.
In many ways, I think you all are like the first podcasters. Because you're talking, a lot of what people are doing now is what you all coined, which was free-flowing conversation between two friends about topics of the day and things people were interested in.
Whatever.
But they entered into that relationship. And now that those relationships, they don't have them in real life, they become more precious.
Well, we just loved each other.
You saw that.
We loved each other. We made each other howl with laughter. And it was authentic laughter. We never had a laugh track with our audience.
It was live.
It was live and alive. It really was. And I used to say when I was walking out and going to meet him on the stage, I said, I'd like, Lord, how long till I can make him laugh? I have 5 seconds today. 5 seconds, I'm going to get a laugh out of him. A minute. And that would be my goal, to just get him laughing. And it always worked.
Wow. And he was a bit of a curmudgeon. I mean, he was
a bit of one?
He was like me. He liked to complain. That was part of his
That's
shtick.
his shtick.
Yeah, and I loved it. I loved him. I watched
And I was
every day.
Blueberry Sunshine.
Right.
Now I'm a curmudgeon.
See, he taught you well. He taught you well.
Well, I got old.
It happens to the best of us. Did anyone at ABC ever tell you, or agents or managers ever say, Kathie, we love you, it's working well, pull back on the faith thing? Don't mention the God thing. Never did that.
I would have walked in 5 seconds. I would have said, well, then you don't want me. If you don't want, he comes with me. I'm with that guy. And the ratings were just...
Yeah, no, the ratings were...
And they would say, can she say that? Do we want her saying that? And they didn't believe it or any, but the audience went, our audience, we used to get like 8s, which nobody would understand in the Nielsen ratings. Huge. And now people are lucky to get, blessed to get a what?
A 1.
2? A 1?
Yeah.
That bad?
It's bad. You realize cable television is now beating all the broadcast, except for football games.
I remember when cables just started and everybody was laughing at it.
Yep.
And Frank said, it's going to be huge.
Yep.
It's going to be huge.
And now streaming. Now streaming is intruding on that. So
and
you
something
can
else will take over that.
Yes, it's all cyclical. I mean, streaming is basically becoming cable, but you get to decide when you watch the show.
Well, I like that. I like freedom.
I think everybody likes it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's the future. Tell me about Hoda. You then go back to daytime television with Hoda.
After 8 years away.
Well, I know. Why would you do that, first
Didn't
of all?
want to.
I know. You kind of didn't. You were kind of,
I was done.
Non-committal at the beginning.
I thought I'd done the best daytime television I could do. Best 15 years of television that was in me was Regis.
Yeah.
The master of it all. I mean, the king of it. He was just, he was.
Did you worry about the chemistry?
I didn't know her. See, I knew Regis from years watching him in Los Angeles.
TV,
so, I mean, I knew right away, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have a whole lot of fun.
Did you accommodate your character, if you will, your personality to him, knowing who he was, and thought, I'll bring out this part of me to kind of balance him? No.
All I did is show up.
Not a conscious...
Never.
I'm going to play this part of me.
I'm just going to react to him. I'm just going to be honest, and I'm going to bring something maybe fun that happened to me. I'll bring something to the table.
And what was the approach with Hoda? What did you think?
With Hoda, I had to get to know her. Jim Bell. Jim Bell was the executive producer of the Today Show at the time, and he came over to my house and tried to talk me into it. And I said, Jim, I've done the best television I can do. I'm writing for Broadway now. I'm really moving on to those final dreams that are still in the little girl that fell out of the, with the pratfall, out of her mother's womb. I still have them. And you can't in daytime television pursue those kinds of dreams. Movies take a long time. Broadway takes Broadway.
Decades.
Yeah, 13 years I tried to bring my Broadway show. And then it closed in 3 weeks because of Hurricane Sandy. And some brutal reviews because people didn't want Jesus on Broadway. Or a woman who loved him.
And a complex woman. It's a great show. I saw it.
I know you did. Thank you. And that was 13 years I wrote that, rewrote it 100 times, and 3 out-of-town tryouts, and it's just a lot of money. And I still have this, of my professional life, it's the biggest heartbreak of my professional life.
Really?
Was that my Broadway show. That whatever reason, God had it.
And he wanted you back in television.
I guess, I don't know what he wanted. I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want to go back to television. And it was Frank who talked me into it. He said, Kathie, she's fantastic. And she was just a very, very good journalist back then. When I met her.
I knew her from New Orleans.
Yes.
I knew her because she was a local anchor in New Orleans.
Huge.
And beloved.
Yes, beloved. Yes, I know that. But I didn't know any of that stuff. And I didn't watch television after I left it at all. I'd have it on. I'd have cable on for news because I'm a news junkie. Back when you could trust the news you were getting, you know.
Not so sure now.
No. Yeah, so he said, will you at least have lunch with her? And I said, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah. So we went to lunch at the, where was it? It was right across the street, the Rainbow Room. And by 1 o'clock lunch, and by about 6, they were trying to get us out for the dinner crowd. And we went to the ladies' room afterwards, and I said, you know, Hoda, I don't want to come back to television. I really don't. And but you and I could have a fun show. I know that. If you just, the person that I just had lunch with, if she would show up and be with me on air, we could have a really fun show. I'm not sure we could be a hit at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, you lose so many viewers at that point. I said, but I just really want you to know how special you are. And you're going to have a great career. You're going to have an amazing career. But I'm I'm probably not going to do it. So anyway, it was Frank that said, do it, Kathie, do it for 1 year. And Hoda came to the house to meet Frank and the kids. And Frank took her aside and he said, Hoda, I've talked to Kath and I think I've got her to say, okay, for a year. But I just want you to know, you need to know one thing about Kathie. She will have your back. You can trust her. She is not going to use you and throw you away. She doesn't, that's not her MO. And so that gave Hoda confidence too, because she was stepping into, even though she'd been at the Today Show for years, I was the one that was well known for daytime television. And so, you know, she took a risk as well. And we had fun from day one. But it's funny, I knew it was just not going to last much longer because she was married to her notes, which you're not.
She really?
Married to her notes. She's, you know, she's
she's a journalist.
She's a journalist.
Yeah.
Married to her notes, and she had the IFB in her ear. The interrupted feedback, which is, you know, somebody else is talking to you while I'm talking to you, and they're saying, you know, Kathie, I go, get out of my head. Get out of my head so I can talk to this person, okay? I hated it. I used to say, if God wanted me to have an IFB, I would have been born with it, and I wasn't. So I just hated that. So one day we were out on the plaza, and this wind came up, and it just blew every one of her cards away. And I went, it's a miracle. And then the weather got, you know, cold, and we went in for the winter, like bears or something. I don't know what we did, but we go in, and I said, Hoda, talk to me. I'm the one, I'm sitting here.
Isn't that fascinating? You know, I did television with Mother Angelica, who founded EWTN. And one of the first shows I did with her, I had my notes. The music started, the intro music. She said, what's that you got there? I said, these are my notes, you know, just some, let me see it. I said, well, we're about to start. Let me see it. She took the notes. She goes, you don't need this. She put it behind her, and she's laughing as the show starts. And the music is starting, and I said, what did you do that for? She said, sweetheart, this is about a brother sharing with a sister, and a sister sharing with her brother. Hello, family. Welcome to the show. And that was it. We were off to the races. And, you know, I never brought notes back to that show.
Such a blessing.
Well, but when you're trained, you know, and I have Hoda's training and I have your training. When you're trained in a certain way, you want to keep things on track and not lose your way.
You want to be able to control things. Let's be fair.
And the truth is, the fun happens in between the control.
The fun happens when you don't control anything.
Yeah. Tell me about Frank. You mentioned him a moment ago. I know he's been gone for 10 years this year.
Yeah.
Which has got to be a heartache on you, a blessing in another way.
Yeah, yeah. It's both.
With all these grandbabies now.
I know, he sees them.
Yeah.
You know what? He's going, oh, that one's more beautiful than the last one. Whoa, that one's going to be a great athlete. That one. I've got 5 now under the age of 3. My son's latest and I hope third and final child. They're living in my house in Connecticut, and I'm glad they're there because Kotb has brought it back to its gorgeous self. Wow. And they moved in COVID. They're only going to stay for a couple, you know, until. And then he was helping me. He said, "Mom, do you realize that this is wrong? Mom, do you realize that we need a new roof?" I wasn't paying attention, you know. And so I'm grateful to him and to Erica's beautiful wife, and I love seeing his sons. And the next baby is as a girl, so they'll have a little girl too, running down the same lawn that Kotb did and Cassidy did, and swimming in the same pool, and running around same neighborhood, and just barbecuing in the same spot. It makes me happy to know that Frank's legacy for sure is alive and well. You know. Alive and well. So yeah, we talk about it all the time, but every one of us has grieved in our own ways. And, you know, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. That's 2 Corinthians 5, I believe. I used to know all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're more alive. We're more alive when we're not in this.
Yes, exactly. We're as alive as we will ever be in our experience and of being not a creature of God, but God's creation.
Creation.
Yeah, we're a lot more alive than ever. And so I found him dead on the ground. I'd left him 25, 30 minutes before to get ready for church. I come downstairs, and this was the look on his face. And I said, oh my God, he saw Jesus.
Oh, wow.
And Jesus took his breath away.
You wrote that beautiful song.
I wrote that song. That was the only, with Brett James, brilliant writer. And he saw Jesus. He saw Jesus. And he took his breath away. He was a man who never wanted to leave his house, but he went home that day. It's a good song.
It's a good song.
Uh-huh. And so anyway, yeah. And I didn't go out hardly at all except to go to work for the next 2 years. Didn't want to. I didn't want that look that people would give me. Strangers would go, and I go, don't, please, please don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't know me. You don't know what I'm going through. Please don't. I don't want to be hugged by people that don't know me, that I don't know. Yeah. I just, and I knew they meant well, but I couldn't deal with it for 2 years. Yeah. So I went where it was safe, and that was at the show with Hoda and my crew there. They were fantastic. And then I went out, Hoda and made me go out with this guy that said, I got to meet Kathie Lee. I said, And so I went out with him, and it was just a disaster. Oh. Unless somebody shares my values and my faith, it's going to be a disaster. Yeah. The Bible says, do not be unequally yoked. Oh. And I can't be with somebody. He was a Jewish guy, a very nice guy, very, very successful guy and all that stuff. But he said, what do you mean? You won't go out with me again because I don't believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? I said, yeah, that's basically it.
That's a prerequisite.
It's a prerequisite. He goes, but that's so, and I said, it's what? Why would I want to share the most intimate part of my life with somebody that doesn't share my faith?
Yeah.
And
tell me how your faith got you, because I've always, look, when you're in the public eye, particularly where you were, when scandal hits and the media comes after you.
Oh my gosh.
Whether it's factory workers in foreign lands.
Right, that's right.
Or
your husband's infidelity. That's right. Whatever.
This has to take an awful toll on you personally, because you have to stay in public.
Well, I didn't have to. I could have said, you know what, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. But every time things like that happen, the Lord would remind me that I was there for a purpose, and it wasn't about me. And he knew the truth. He knew I never had sweatshops, never had them, never, you can't have a sweatshop unless you have workers, you hire workers and you have a factory. I didn't have any of that. It was ugly. It was ugly beyond belief.
Because it became personal. It was
about my character.
Right. Kathie Lee is a horrible person. That was
And a lot of people wanted to believe that. Like Howard Stern said, I told you. Oh, yeah. I told you. She's a phony. She's all that stuff. And I just kept praying for Howard Stern. And all of that was fine after a while. He begged for my forgiveness. And I said, I forgave you a long time ago, Howard. Yeah, you do. That's what we have to do as believers in Jesus. That's what Jesus did. Yeah. So, that was hard.
I'm sure the infidelity was a harder battle than...
Well, they came on right on the... The one was in 95 and the next was in 96. Or 96 and 97. I mean, I could have told you, exactly when in the past. But you have to move on. We really do have to move on.
Look, a lot of people deal with this, Kathie, with infidelity in marriages, and how do you, but a lot of people walk out the door.
Yeah.
Particularly when they figure this out. They're like, I'm done here. This is such a deep wound, it's such a break of trust. How did you say it?
Well, because I knew each time that I would have an unbelievable opportunity to go on the air. People are going to go, how's she going to deal with this? What's she going to say about this? And a lot of people wanted us to fail. A lot of people wanted to see me destroyed. And because I was sort of doing a Charlie Kirk thing long before Charlie was born.
Yeah.
I was sharing the gospel on NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN. Everywhere I went, if I had a chance to share the gospel, I did. That was my calling. That was my calling. So I said, Kathie, millions of people will be watching to see what you say now after Frank Infidelity, and then after Frank had died, and what happened after I'd been, accused of the sweatshop stuff, and each time I just thought, Lord, give me utterance. I don't have words to say, so I've given probably 1,000 appearances in front of people over the years speaking. Never written a speech in my life. Never once.
No. From the heart.
From the heart or not at all.
The last time I was here, you had a hip replacement. And then you fell on these steps
Those very steps
behind me.
right behind me. Yeah.
What happened? And how did you get through that? This had to be, this was a couple of rough years.
Three outrageously difficult years. Yeah. But day by day is what you do. You get always, sorry.
What's the lesson?
Trust.
What did you take from it?
Trust. It's always, see the little thing over, the little lamb. Yeah. Above it, it says, fear not. I'm just a lamb. Like you are, like we all are.
Yeah.
My nature is to fear. But I don't want to be that person. I want to be God's lamb where he lifts me up. You see all the artwork that my dear friend Ann has done, Ann Nielsen, all over every house I have, and I've got way too many. I get them, I get rid of them, I sell them, but I never get rid of my paintings by my dear friend Ann. And I just said, Lord, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do life without you. I can do a facsimile of it, but I don't want something phony. I want my life to be a masterpiece of yours because you are the creator of all things. I want to love people in a way that will change their lives. Just, they'll never be the same the way Jesus did.
This had to devastate you, though. You had to worry that I'll never walk again.
Oh, the fall, yeah.
I mean, your pelvis is broken.
I just gotten out of the hospital for the hip, which took, a long, long time. And I got over that like this. Boom, boom. They're going, what are you? I got off the oxy. I wasn't walking on anything. I was fine. So then I fall because a friend of mine was outside waiting for me. I just had the clearance to go to my little farm here and get in my salt pool, and we were going to have lunch. And I said, she was out in 106-degree heat. And I went, oh, Lord, I got to get downstairs. I went around. That's the 4th floor of this place. And I went, and I remember saying, oh, Jesus, please, not my hip. Jesus, not my hip, please, Jesus. And my pelvis was fractured completely in the front and completely behind it. Right back into the hospital for the next 8 days. Went out to my little farm, had a nurse, because I needed one, to do PT with me every day and all that stuff. And she was adorable, just precious. I had met her at the hospital the first time.
Visit.
Yeah, the first visit. And I said, I want her to come and be with me, darling girl. And
there's nothing they can do for a pelvis.
Nothing. It's like your ribs. They just have to heal on their own. It can take a long, long time. And it's really painful. And all of a sudden I'm walking and she goes, Kathie, you can't put weight on your right foot like that. And I said, why not? It doesn't hurt. I said, shouldn't I be in excruciating pain? And she goes, well, yeah, you should be. I said, let's call my doctor. So we call my doctor and he says, come in, I'll give you an X-ray.
Do an X-ray?
Did an X-ray right away and says, you want to see your X-ray? And I go, do I? You tell me. He goes, let me show you. And he says, that's the hip I just gave you. That's the hip. That's brand new and beautiful. Didn't hurt it at all. That's your pelvis, completely and miraculously healed by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Back and front.
Back and front, completely. Never had a bit of pain ever again. Then,
how long was that? How long was the stretch between breakage and
8
this?
8 days.
What? Wow.
A miracle's a miracle. And I didn't even know that it was a miracle. It just happened. It just happened somewhere along the line where I just got healed. And I've had some major people pray over me in this world. Some of them that have huge world ministries in healing and stuff. And I wasn't healed. And God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And then I woke up one night in the middle of the night and I couldn't move my left arm at all. And I went, oh my gosh, I've had a stroke. Oh. And I tried to get out of my bed, and this arm was just, and I'm trying to get out of my bed to go to the bathroom, and
that arm's not responding.
Nothing. It was dead. It was dead. I'm going, oh, so I sort of crumbled at the end of the bed and couldn't even get up for 2 hours because my phone, I kept hearing it ringing. It was in the bed because we were in baby alert even then. And so I just thought, I got to keep the phone with me, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. And my friend came over. She knew something was wrong. My friend Angie, and she knows where the keys are for my house and all that. She came in and she said, oh, I'm taking you to, urgent care. And this was the worst thing that I've ever been through.
What happened? What was it?
A major fracture of everything. What happened to my hip was, that was just ash. That was my arm. I'd had an injury years earlier that wasn't bad enough to have it surgically dealt with. Yeah. But over the years and over the use and over the everything, it was the same thing. It looked like a pile of arthritic ash and a pile of bone.
So they replaced
fragments. It? No, they just fixed it.
Wow.
But that's taken me 5 months of PT. I go 3 times a week for PT. I go 3 times a week for every other day. I go to Mandu, which I've told you about that I do. Yep. And then I would swim at my farm. It's taken that much just to have this much of my arm back.
What would you tell the 20-year-old Kathie Lee Gifford if you were starting in this industry?
If it's the calling of God on your life and you know it, just keep going. Just keep going, girl. He will never leave you or forsake you. He will never, ever do to you what the world wants to do. Huh. That Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And Jesus comes that we might have life and life eternally. And abundantly is what the word means. And that word is Zoe in the Greek. And Zoe means so abundantly that it cannot even be measured. I said, that's the life I want to live, Lord. That's the life that cost me a hip. That's the life that's cost me a shoulder. That's the life that's cost me a lot of my feet. Everything. I've had, trying to figure out if there's a place on me that haven't had a facelift.
Well, that's good. Don't do it. You don't need it.
I'm not going to do that.
No.
But you know what I mean? It's cost me the toll of
life. The toll of life.
But it was a life well lived, and I'm grateful to God that I had the opportunity. I wouldn't change anything really with that.
I ask everyone a list of questions. This is my Arroyo Grande questionnaire.
Arroyo Grande.
Don't think
just
about
say
this.
It. Just say
Boom.
it. You've done this with me before.
No, not like this.
Really?
Who's the person you most admire?
Jesus.
Who's the person you most detest?
Cruel people.
The last great book you read and your favorite book?
Well, I don't read many of them anymore because I write.
You write
writing them. My 37th book or something is. I just finished it. It's about Nero and Paul. Last great book I read.
This is a follow-up on the Mary and
the
Herod.
Paul, the Herod one. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm liking that because those are great epic stories.
You like novels.
Yes, they're thrillers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I wish I could give you a good answer. I used to read all the time, but I haven't.
You don't have time. You don't have time. You're writing.
Everybody wants me to do the next interview about it or, sales meeting. And I go,
and I'm here.
I just got the other one out, but people love them. Yeah. So, and I love these stories. I love bringing stories to life. I was born to tell stories. My son's born to tell stories. Cassidy too, in my genealogy is the great Rudyard Kipling, years back on my mother's side.
Really?
Gunga Din and the poem If. Yes. So many wonderful things.
Jungle Book, Tales from the Jungle Book.
Yes, exactly right. Yes, and obviously it was my mother's father's side, and that's the DNA God put me in early on. Keep going. Maybe I'll have a better answer for you for the next one.
What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows?
What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What does Kathie Lee know that no one else knows? What do I don't assume to know things that other people don't know. The hardest thing for me to have learned in my walk with the Lord is patience. I'm not a patient person. Let's do it.
Let's get it done. You and I are.
Yeah, we're simpatico that way. We are.
Totally.
Yeah, we are. We're type A.
You want it done.
And I want it, and I want it done well.
Yeah.
So say it again. What is the one thing?
What do you know that no one else knows?
See, but people do know that God is faithful. There are people out there that know that God will be there when you wake up. He's with you when you sleep. He sees you. He's the God who sees, all of those things that I've written about. Yeah, so that one, same thing. The great martyrs of the church know far more than I do. I haven't been martyred for my faith. Yeah. I've suffered for it. Yeah. But I haven't been martyred like Charlie. Yeah. I haven't been. I don't want to be. I don't want to suffer. I'll be honest about that.
Well, you said earlier something that you said, I fear. What do you fear? What do you fear?
I said, I don't want to fear.
You don't want to fear.
I have reminders all over my house of, fear not, but I am with you.
But what do you fear?
You know, there are more admonitions in the Bible about fear than anything.
I did know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
About fear.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid. Yeah. So what am I, if I'm afraid of anything?
What are you afraid of?
For my children and my grandchildren now. I'm not afraid for me. I'm 72 years old. I've lived an unbelievable life. I had a great love. And did he crush me? Yeah. But did the Lord heal? Yeah. Did it leave scars? Oh, yeah. Sure did. But we got through it, and for another 15 years after that.
Wow.
Yeah. It happened 11 years into our marriage, and we were married for 29 years after. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I just don't assume that I know anything that somebody doesn't know. I just know the Lord Jesus in a personal way. I know that life is finite.
Yeah.
It is, and when you've held your dead husband in your arms and you see his face, and mortality it becomes very, very real. Your own mortality does.
Yeah.
So, you try to apply that to your life and say, Lord, I know I'm not. One of these days when they come on with those dead, Robert Redford just the other day, dead at 89. I loved Robert Redford, and it's just, I said, one day that's going to be me, and they're going to put me up there, and it'll last maybe a day. And people go, oh, she was funny, or oh, I hated her, or whatever they're going to say. It's not about me. It's not. That's just the way we measure life in our world today. But Jesus measures it differently. And he will say to me, well done, Kath. Well done, sweetie. Yeah. I know he will.
Yeah. What's your biggest regret? Do you have one? No regret.
Well, my first marriage was a disaster.
Yeah, but that's. Yeah.
But God used that too. I never would have met Frank. I never would have gone off from left LA and gone to New York to work on Good Morning America.
And Regis and Frank and all of that would never have happened.
That would have never happened had I not been.
But the Hee Haw Honeys might still be on the air.
Pete, TV Guide named the top 10 worst sitcoms of all time. And Hee Haw Honeys was right there, baby.
Well, you see, you're making headlines no matter what you do, Kathie.
And I laughed my butt off. I just thought, you know what? I was 22 years old and making $10,000 an episode. So it wasn't a...
their TV Guide.
So it was great for me, thanks.
I love it.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
From my father. Find something you love to do and then figure out a way to get paid for it. Because that what you love to do is of the Lord.
And animates your whole life.
Animates your whole life.
Final question, what happens when this is over?
Meaning this life?
I let you decide.
Well, I think we live chapters. We live chapter by chapter by chapter in our lives. I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm ready. I'd pick up and move again if the Lord wanted me to. Yeah. What
do you want to do? I know there's a big project you still want to.
Oh, well, you know what? I have two things coming up that I'm very, very excited about. My friend Randy Altig and I, he's doing the heavy lifting on it because I couldn't walk or travel last year. We're doing a big thing on this Shroud of Turin that comes out First Fruits Easter, this Easter time. And I've been writing the music with my friends Louis York.
Wow.
And we've written a song called Sindone. And I went to my little farm. He said, Kathie, will you write the music? And I said, well, yeah. But I said, I gotta pray because I've written a lot of really good songs, thousands of them. You know, people don't know them because I didn't write hits, but a lot of good songs for Broadway or whatever. Yeah. And I've written a couple of great ones, but I've never written a perfect song. And I said, this song has to be perfect. The theme song for the Shroud of Turin documentary has to be perfect. And I said, Lord, you know my heart. You know that this song has to be perfect. I don't know how to do perfect. And immediately, now Sindone means shroud in Italian. So immediately, he gives me the first lyric, which even at his birth, he was shrouded in mystery. And I went, you are so good. So good. And 4 days later, which I could have written 40 songs in 4 days, but I waited on him. I just kept waiting. I got the very last lyric and I got out of my chair and fell on my face saying, praise you, Jesus. It was just unbelievable. And I called my friends, whom you know, Claude and Chuck Harmony, and my favorite writing partners of all time. And I said, you guys, I read them the lyrics. And they said, we're coming tomorrow. Sindone, ooh, Sindone, ooh, Sindone. It haunts. It haunts you in the most beautiful, beautiful way. We put the melody, even at his birth, he was shrouded in mystery. Angels and shepherds, a blazing star in the sky. But why? You know, it's amazing because I said, Lord, you write it, and I'll write it down.
A good way to work, always.
Always.
Kathie, love you. Thank you for
you too,
having
sweetheart.
us.
Thank
it's
you.
Always a joy.
Give my much love to Laura for me.
I will do it.
Okay,
Thank
sweetie.
you. Great
And
to
poor
see you.
Rebecca that has to suffer through life with you.
I know. Well, every Christian needs a cross. Here I am. Here I am, Lord.
Happy to supply.
Yeah, that's right. I filled the bill. You're awesome. Thank you.
No, this was fun.
That was great. Every time I see Kathie Lee, I come away thinking, this is somebody who trusts. You heard it in that last story. But she's really done that throughout her life. She just trusts that God will lead her to her next adventure and complete whatever He's calling her to. That is not a bad lesson to take away from a conversation with Kathie Lee, and it can get you through a lot. I'm so glad you joined us. I hope you'll come back. Why live a dry, narrow, constricted life when if you fill it with good things, it can flow into a broad, thriving Arroyo Grande? I'm Raymond Arroyo. Make sure you subscribe, like this episode, and thank you for diving in. We'll see you next time. Arroyo Grande is produced in partnership with iHeart Podcasts and DP Studios, and it's available on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.